Throughout the sports world, there was a lot of discussion after the news of Shohei Ohtani's record-breaking 10-year, $700 million contract broke last Saturday. Now, there's even more discussion after reports came out regarding the deferred money in the two-way superstar's contract. So, let's discuss Ohtani contract mania. We're going to do it with the great baseball columnist for the New York Post, Jon Heyman, who joins me now. Jon, are you over the Ohtani mania, or you're excited about more that's coming out about this?
I'm good with Ohtani. He's unique, one of a kind. So anything you want to ask me about Ohtani, all good.
All right, that's why we have you here. Glad to ask you anything about Ohtani. Now, Jon, Ohtani's contract is still a record, but now it came out that 68 of his $70 million annual salary will be deferred during the duration of the contract. The juggernaut Dodgers, we know this. They've been known to use deferrals when it comes to player contracts, particularly around their stars. This is clearly good for the Dodgers, but is it good for the sport of baseball?
Well, I mean, I guess that's a question you'd have to answer in Kansas City or Miami, where actually I am in Miami. Certainly some of those teams are going to wonder, wow, look at the Dodgers. They're playing within the rules, but they're using the system to their advantage. And the fact that this deal is not really worth $70 million a year, it's worth about $46 million a year, and maybe less than that, leaves room for them to sign Yamamoto if they can get him. Trade for Tyler Glass now if they can get him, or do almost anything else they want to do. They set themselves up by cutting back, and in a year that they really cut back, they still won 100 games. So I mean, Dodgers, they do it right. They know what they're doing, and I think part of it's about their revenue, the big market, but the other part is they really do a very good job in Los Angeles.
They really do there. And as you said, they are playing within the rules. Can't really be mad at that. I guess you can always be mad, but you should not really be mad at that. Jon, there also was a lot of shock at the amount of Ohtani's contract, but the fact that he can take a contract with this much deferred money, does it speak to the reach of his superstar status? And what can he make in endorsements that would make up for the money lost during this time where that amount is deferred?
Well, the word is he makes about $50 million a year in endorsements. We see some of them on TV, obviously. Really not shocking. I mean, he is, as I said, a one-of-a-kind superstar, two-way player, two-time MVP, would have won 3 MVPs in a row if it weren't for Aaron Judge breaking Roger Maris's home run record there and leading the Yankees to the division title there in 2022. So he certainly can afford to do it. Not many players would do this. $2 million a year is what he will make for the 10 years of the contract while he was playing. He will not make the big money until he is done with the contract. At that point, he's going to make $68 million a year for 10 years, so 97% deferred. I don't think we're going to see another contract like that. I know, people can complain that, look what they're doing, but I don't see this happening again. There aren't going to be other players willing to take $2 million a year because nobody else is making $50 million a year in endorsements. I think maybe Judge and Harper, players like that, could be making $5 million, maybe $7 million a year in endorsements. Nobody's making anything close to $50 million a year endorsement. This is the only player like this.
Last thing for me here, Jon. With Ohtani signing this contract and the Dodgers still looking to add pieces, how much pressure is there on the Dodgers and Ohtani to win immediately? And is there a number of championships that they need to win in the time of this contract in order to justify this contract?
Well, I wouldn't say there's a certain number that they need to win, but if they don't win any, it will look a little bit weird to have this kind of a team with Ohtani and Betts and Freeman and not win. They've been winning that division consistently. 10 out of 11 years. The one year they didn't win it, they won 106 games, losing by 1 game to the Giants, which kind of had a flukish 107-win season. I mean, if they continue their misfortune in the playoffs for another 10 years, I mean, that will be startling. I think people will forget the Buffalo Bills at that point, but I do expect them to win some championships. This team is fantastic right now. I do expect them to add pitching, whether it be Yamamoto, Glass now, or somebody else. There are very good pitchers on the trade market. Cease, Burns, Bieber, the Marlins pitchers. There's still some available via the free agency, be it Snell or Montgomery. So they're going to add to it. And, they cut back last year. They cut back and still won 100 games. And right now they're primed to really become a super team and be a heavy favorite to win the World Series. But as we've seen in the playoffs, the baseball playoffs are a little bit of a crapshoot. Not so much of a crapshoot that I don't expect them to win any championships, with Ohtani on the team, though.
Yeah, and we will see how it plays out. Like you said, they look like they're building a super team right now around Shohei Ohtani and his record contract, 10 years, $700 million, 68 of those deferred of the $70 million annually for that. Really interesting stuff around Ohtani. That is the great Jon Heyman, New York Post baseball columnist, always giving us a great insight. Jon, thank you for the time. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thank you, Dexter.